So as a financial planner, one of the things that I'm always thinking about, and especially applicable to military families, because what do? You PCS, right? How many of you have had more than 5 jobs? Look at that, all right? So what happens to that retirement plan when you move from one job to another? Can you say it goes away so you can pay for those unexpected moving expenses? I mean, too often that's what I see. So one of the things that we really want to focus on is keeping that momentum with our retirement savings. And a way to do that is to leave the money alone. Maybe it's a transfer to roll it over into an IRA, but don't use it. Don't keep cashing it, because if you do that 11 times between now and age 40 or 48, guess what you're going to have when you get to the end of the line? 0.
After 6 years of active duty with the U.S. Army and while serving in the U.S. Army Reserve, JJ Montanaro began a 20-year career in financial services. He is currently a certified financial planner with USAA. JJ joins us here in San Antonio. Welcome to Hiring America.
Thanks, Lauren. Great to be here.
What is the single most important financial advice that you give to members of the military community?
So I guess my number one piece of advice would be, hey, do you have a financial plan? And if you don't, maybe you should get one.
Making a financial plan, though, seems a little intimidating, especially because oftentimes married couples fight about money, or it's something that they don't want to discuss, even though that might not be the right approach. So what's your advice there?
Well, we need to get on the same sheet of music as far as goals, for sure. And oftentimes the times that we discuss money are the times when things are going wrong. The car broke down, we don't have enough money to pay for it, there's some extra bills. So I think having a conversation in a peaceful, routine moment, as opposed to just having crisis management conversations, is an important element of being on the same sheet of music and having a financial plan.
Tell us about some of the unique investing and saving options available for members of the military community.
Well, there's 2 that I really like. One has to do with those folks that are currently deployed. So they're in a tax-free combat zone, and after they've been there for 30 days, they can take advantage of what's called the Savings Deposit Program, or SDP, and that's a DoD savings account that pays 10%, which they can put up to $10,000 in. So when you compare that to what we're seeing in savings accounts now, that's a fantastic rate and a fantastic opportunity. So that'd be number one. Number 2 would be the Thrift Savings Plan, the TSP. That's the government or the military's version of a 401k, and it works just like a civilian 401k. It's a payroll deduction that goes into the plan. But what again is the real opportunity is when we have those deployments, and we've been having frequent deployments since 9/11. It's an opportunity to take tax-free money, put it in the Roth TSP, and let that grow for decades and never pay tax on that money when you pull it out.
What advice do you have to military families just before they enter the civilian workforce? What should they be doing to plan for that?
They should be thinking about it long before they enter the civilian workforce. One of the things that we talk about is the need to have a 6 to 12 month stash of cash sitting aside so that when you make that transition to civilian life, you have the opportunity, one, to find a job that makes sense, not just the one that you're going to be able to get to put food on the table. And building up that kind of reserve, that doesn't happen just before you get out of the military. It's almost something you ought to be thinking about just when you get into the military, because the only inevitable thing is that anyone who serves is ultimately going to leave the military, whether they separate or they retire. So start planning early.
What are some of the top financial questions that you get at these festivals?
Well, next year on January 1st of 2018, the old military retirement system of you serve 20 years, and if you don't make it 20 years, you get nothing from the government as far as retirement, is going away and is being replaced by what's called the blended retirement system, which has still a military retirement or pension component. It's just 20% smaller than the current one, but it also has matching contributions to that thrift savings plan, or the government's version of 401k that we talked about earlier. So it's a blend between a matching contributions to your TSP and the annuity retirement check, as opposed to just having the retirement check where you have to serve 20 years. So it's going to impact and benefit a lot larger audience than the old system. But again, anytime you introduce something that's new, people are going to go, uh-oh, what's going on there? I mean, is this good for me? Is it bad for me? Is it something I should look into?
And what do you educate military spouses about? Is it all about putting a certain percentage away into that fund for their retirement now? Maybe that was something they didn't consider earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I think if people leave with one message, it's, hey, I'm going to start up that savings engine, whether it's putting money into a savings account to build an emergency fund, if it's starting to fund an IRA or a Roth IRA, or it's like we were just talking about, the TSP, the Thrift Savings Plan. Getting that ball rolling is one message that I hope everyone takes from these sort of events.
USAA has a long-standing commitment to helping members of our military community. How does the company go about doing that?
Well, we have a suite of financial planning tools and calculators, so folks can visit USAA.com, and whether they're trying to save and build an emergency fund, planning for college for the kids, or trying to figure out if their retirement plan is on track, there are tools and calculators that can help them do that, but they can also pick up the phone and talk to a financial advisor. We want to be there for the military community and help them navigate the financial challenges that are out there.